I want to look at something. Which is HOPE and the cycle of addiction, but more specifically, just kind of that thing that people do in this culture. Not all, some, where you're just on your phone and you flip to another app. You flip to another app, and you flip to another app, then you flip to another app, and you're back at the first app, and you just are just hoping. It's very irrational. Really makes me understand the whole rat in the cage metaphor, not metaphor, example. There's this hope. There's this hope that finally, yeah, it's so similar to, the person sitting at the slot machine in Las Vegas, hoping for the $1 million jackpot, hoping for the $1 million jackpot, hoping for the $1 million jackpot, hoping for the $1 million jackpot. Meanwhile, blowing all the money that they have. They think that with their $800 worth of quarters, or their $2,000 worth of quarters, or their $4,600 worth of quarters, that they're going to get this $1 million jackpot, but they just lose all their quarters. It's not rational, but it is exploited. It is exploited. By the app psychologists and the attention economy. It is exploited. And I find myself at times, not always, when I'm in my lower states of being, I find myself going into that loop. Even when I know consciously that it's not going to serve me. It's like, whoosh, 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 bright colors, bright colors. Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's fun. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's fun. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, maybe someone's contacted me. Nope, no one's contacted me. Swoosh, maybe someone. Swoosh. Oh, but that's cool. That's cool. Oh, maybe if I refresh that, something will happen. Nope. Maybe if I refresh that, something will happen. Nope. And contrasted to the human times of life, the BHTOL, the beautiful human times of life when we were just a bunch of humans being human together. We'll get back there. But so don't let's delve a little deeper now. Now that we've kind of we unraveled the whole pizza heap leap win gap win. macro crisis to macro opportunity. When we've mapped that whole thing out, the 5 layers. But let's look more in depth. Let's look more in depth at hope, expectation, attachment, and prediction. On an emotional level, I want to sink deeper into the emotional level around that. Because we get it rationally. We get it rationally, but I want to sink deeper into the emotional realm. I want to sink deeper into the emotional realm. And let's see if we can excavate any lingering heap. And mining the gap too. I think one of the errors made was letting a lot of sticks and stones fall into that gap in succession. Kind of like a cat that wants to knock something off of a table. Once it knocks one thing off the table and notices no one else is going to do anything about it, it'll just keep knocking more things off the table. That's the sticks and stones into the gap. That's the that's the pattern. Is like, what can I get away with? Oh, got away with that. Let's see if I can get away with a lot more. So, some combination of mining the gap. Because we're looking at two things, right? We're looking at we're looking at sticks and stones coming in from the outside. And we're looking at sticks and stones coming in from the inside. Extrinsic sticks and stones, intrinsic sticks and stones. And the intrinsic sticks and stones revolve around H, E, A, and P. I want you to think back to to the pain. I want to call it the I'm going to call it the mattress chair backpack metaphor. You know what I'm talking about? You would think that if person A said to person B, hey, do you mind watching after my mattress and my chair? And person B says, no, not at all. That when person B asks person A, hey, do you mind looking after my backpack? That person A would say, sure, I don't mind, not at all. A key thing that we have to highlight when looking at HEAP is that A is not just attachment. A is actually twofold. It's attachment and assumption. And assumption is interesting, right? Assumption is a assumption is a subtle form of expectation. I don't even know if subtle is the right word. I mean, take some different examples. Sally walks Bob's dog for a week when Bob is out of town. Sally assumes Bob will walk Sally's dog when Sally is out of town for a week. When Sally goes out of town for a week, she asks Bob, and Bob says, no, sorry, not my thing. Assumption. And in that assumption was an expectation. In that assumption was an expectation that Sally was attached to. In that assumption was an expectation that Sally predicted. In that assumption was an expectation that Sally hoped for. If you notice your disappointment, it's because you let, again, you were saying no on a rational level. No, I don't have any hopes. No, I don't have any expectations. No, I don't have any attachments. No, I don't have any predictions. But on a subtler level, a more emotional level, even though you let go of the macro, even though you let go of even though you worked really hard to, I guess I should say, on the main issue, right? There are main issues, but there are, let's just think of it as major and minor. You did really well. You focused so much on the major, but not so much on the minor. And the minor issues were that you started to develop hopes, expectations, attachments, assumptions, predictions. that didn't manifest. You thought that if you invited you thought that if you invited person A to the party, you weren't really thinking it, but you just kind of assumed, that if you invited person A to the party, that a couple of weeks later, person A would invite you to the party. And when person A didn't invite you to the party, you were disappointed. And the only reason you were disappointed was because you made an assumption. And from that assumption, HEAP blossomed. Whoosh. So the best thing is not just in the major categories, but also in the minor categories. See if you can just inventory the minor categories. See if you can inventory the minor assumptions. And all you need to do this is just basically say, I hope that, and finish the sentence. I hope that, dot, dot, dot. I hope that, dot, dot, dot. I hope that. So just do that. Not with anything major, just with minor things. You don't have to say them out loud. Just see if you can think of 3 to 5. Fifth one is tough, isn't it? There we go. 5. So take all of those, right? And note the assumptions that got you to some of them. Now more popping. Those were all related to like a week to a month from now, and the ones that are popping up right now are related to what you were feeling today, right? I hope that I hope that I hope that I hope that again, a lot of those are coming from a wounded place. So to let go of heap is not a rational exercise. It's really an emotional exercise of um, of letting go. And I encourage you now, just in silence, to take those assumptions and take those hopes and free the opposite. So, for example, if you hope to be invited to the party, you change it to I free you. I free you to never invite me to the party. For every hope. Now this is powerful in that it's more than just an exercise. Um, it also ripples waves out into the universe. Practice it. So you're basically taking the things that you least want to happen, the opposite of the assumption, and you are freeing the universe to allow that to happen. So just give that a shot. How'd that feel? It felt like a step in the right direction. It felt necessary. Yeah, I think it's important to start each day fresh. And to be grateful for what beauty does arise. To be grateful for what arises that's positive, and to be mindful of what arises that's negative. And to just notice. To notice, are things feeling good in the field? Do things feel do things feel well in the field? And if they do, continue the field. And if they don't, discontinue the field. How does the field look now? I mean, when you look at everything, well, I think again, I think the field is actually in a good state of equilibrium. Because again, there's the win of unity. There's the win of individuality or solitary. And there's the win of minding the gap. So I want you to imagine each of those occurring, right? I want you to imagine, someone putting something under a cup and moving the cup around to three different things, or I want you to imagine each possible scenario playing out. I want you to imagine a three-sided die with a 1, 2, and a 3 on it. We roll the die. And it lands on 3. Unity. So imagine unity happens. How'd that feel? Good. Felt good. Okay, now roll the dice. Lands on 1. Yeah, that also feels good rationally, but it stings the wound more. Of course. Stay with it. Work through it. Yeah, it's harder, but it feels good. It's definitely emotionally harder, but it feels good. Okay, so you've got the good, you've got the good. Now do the gap. Roll the dice. Lands on 2. Yeah, that was good too. It's harder. I mean, it's difficult. So the superpower here really is you're you're noticing it is this. It's kind of this unhookable, calm, unshakable. If you really through and through get to a place, not where conceptually you've let go of heap, but you've through and through purged your entire system of it. And what radiates through you is leap, right? What radiates through you is love, encouragement, appreciation, patience, presence, love, encouragement, appreciation, and presence. That is a field. Feel that field. Feel that field. Feel how different that feels than getting into a heap state. And I want to remind you of a specific heap state that you were in. Very minor, very minute, very subtle. But you created a little story. You created a little story that said, well, there's only an hour left. There's only an hour left, so And from that assumption and that hope, a little bit of expectation arose. And I'll use variables, but the expectation for variable y arose, but the reality ended up being z, variable z. You were basically like, y. And the result was z. And so you felt kind of disappointed, sad. And again, it was so minor that it wasn't really that big of a deal. But it wasn't leap. It wasn't coming from a place of love and encouragement and appreciation and presence. It wasn't coming from a it wasn't connected to the moment. It wasn't connected to the present moment. It was connected to a story. It was connected to a storyline. So I want you to just really sink deep into that. Sink back deep into that state of love, encouragement, appreciation, and presence. Yeah, it's a beautiful place to be. And the beautiful thing about being in that state, being in that state of leap, is nothing can hook you or hurt you or shake you. Hey. Hey. You allow the wind to be as the wind wants to be. You allow the weather to be as the weather wants to be. And that allowing allows for many things. When you live from a place of leap, you are very much like a tetherball pole. The ball will go a variety of which ways, 360 degrees, up and down and around and all over the place. External factors will hit it, mess it about, back and forth, back and forth. But as the tetherball pull you are unaffected. And at the end of the day, after the ball has swirled around, the ball becomes untaught and rests by the side of the pole. And that's just a metaphor. It's just a metaphor for the energetics. It's not the metaphor for all situations, but it's the metaphor for the energetic. Be love, be encouragement, be appreciation, be presence. And if something arises, if something goes for the gap, you set a boundary. Any kind of kind, loving, encouraging, appreciative present boundary. Return to that state. And what makes it easy to return to that state? Is the minute by minute. It's almost like if every time you exhale heap, but specifically attachment and assumption, as if every time you exhale, and you breathe in love, breathe in encouragement, breathe in appreciation, breathe in presence, then part of the beauty of breathing in presence is that you can be with moments as they arise. Now I want you to rewind back a few years to that fateful, tragic moment. I want you to imagine if you had approached that moment with love, encouragement, appreciation, and presence. That moment, that painful phone call, that moment, that moment. That moment where the wind was saying right and you were saying left. That moment had you just said, hey, wind, I see you're pointing right. Right it is. And all the prior moments in life, had you simply said, I see. I see, wind. I see you're pointing left. Yes. Left. And years before that. Yes. So now, you're gifted with that. It's a gift. It's a gift to have access. It's a gift to have access to that state that is truly welcoming. It's welcoming and it's nourishing. I want you to imagine something. I want you to imagine arriving at the house of a wise sage. The wise sage opens the door with a smile and glistening eyes. Come on in. And the sage gives you tea and a biscuit. It says, welcome, welcome, sit down, sit down, sit down. How can I serve you today? And you respond, oh, well, thank you. You've already served me. I mean, you invited me in, sage, and you made me tea and a biscuit. I mean, thank you. That's all I really... But the sage says, no, no, no. How can I serve you? Would you like to sit in silence? Would you like me to tell you stories, or would you like me to listen to your stories? And as you're thinking about it, the sage says, and just so you know, you're welcome to go and you're welcome to stay at any time. You're welcome to go. Carry on your way. You're welcome to stay. There's a towel for you by the shower, and there's a bed made up for you. You're welcome to stay. You're welcome to go. There's plenty of tea. There's plenty of biscuits. I'm here to listen. I'm here for silence. And I'm here for sharing. And imagine you share with the sage all the struggles that you're going through. I'm struggling with this and with that, and I don't know if I should this or that. And if I go back to the kingdom, this will happen, but if I go out into the wilderness and into the woods, and if I go stay with my aunt in the forest, and if I go this or that, and and the sage simply says, hey, whatever you choose to do, I will support you however I can. In the meantime, you're welcome to tea and biscuits. You're welcome to stay, and you're welcome to leave. Whatever best serves you. And if you stay, I'll be here tomorrow to listen, share stories, or sit with you in silence. And if you so choose to leave, I send you good wishes and good graces and warmth along your journey. That is the essence. That is the essence of it all. That is the essence of presence.